1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12,
13, 14, 15, 16. Rich. You also realize that what you know as storage is anybody else will be starting. In other words, you can go to the source to program the video. Program your subconscious, as they call it, but you can actually talk to your team, really cause them to do as you know, but you have to do it. You cannot think about it and sit in meditation and think about it, but you have to consciously put it to work, just like these workmen out on the road. Give them a shovel and a drill and they go out and work on the yard, on the road. But if they don't tell them what to do and how to do it, then it comes with it. So in a sense, you've got to tell them the teams in your body and this team to do certain things. And the conscious that because you have to know eventually where to stay off and you'll be there when you know what you've really got to talk to it and tell it to do such and such thing.
What do you say to do when you're saying that you know the source now? It's like you know the mechanism that you have, that you know where the storage tapes are, you know how to push the button, you know how to play the tape, you actually build that information in your genetic structure of certain positive actions and negative traits. Now, let's say that you're telling your vehicle to do that thing a certain way, and you do it, and you repeat it to do it, then the tape is getting clearer and clearer. It's almost squeezing out anything else in that particular category, except what you are feeding in. Positively, it's like squeezing out the negative or any contradictory. But let's say then that in a relaxed moment, you'll be able to put some stimulus or maybe even something that you don't even recognize as being stimulus. But your vehicle plays an old tape, and you hear, or it tries to play the tape, but it gets a sentence in. And when you hear that sentence, if you respond to that sentence, the moment that you're responding to that sentence, you are applying information back into those genes, contradictory information to what you identified when you were in strong positive mind, which weakens that strength that you built in that particular category and causes it to be very confused. Because it's like it doesn't know what to feed back the next time in that category. You fed it so much, saying only positive action, that you fed it over a little bit of negative. Well, it's just like a tape runs on a cassette. You're going to get, when you play it back, you're going to get X number of minutes for positive, and then you're going to get that little segment as a negative. And it isn't going to be consistent. It isn't going to be consecutive. So what you're desperately trying to do is get back to the beginning of all the cases and clean them out and saturate them with the positive, so that when any of your structure has any response or thought, anything less than that level, that it's like someone saying something to you that you refuse to hear. you can't deny that they said it. But if you're not going to agree with them, you're not going to talk about, let's say that Toyota said something negative, it would be just like your vehicle. If I said to Toyota, well, that may be true. If I even lowered myself for a moment to entertain his negative thoughts that's trying to pass something might be true, I am programming that into my system, into my computer, my genes. And every time I do that, I confuse the whole application that I have been trying to put in that category. I mix negative with positive. You see what we're saying? Now, if he says that to me, and I merely hear the fact that he said something, and I refuse to believe it, or accept it, or to respond to it one way or the other, positively or negatively, even if he says something to me that I might see him coming from a wrong light, I can program it, because it's not my place to be coming from a wrong light. It's not my place to correct, it's his place to correct. I can't trust that I have the judgment to know where he's coming from. So, my challenge is that if I hear anything from him less than what I can recognize as to have zero response. You understand that? And that's where I have to stay. If I expect my genetic structure to change at any rapid pace. And a lot of you all, things can happen. I don't know exactly what all of them are, but as seasons change, things in the heavens move in position. They've always said that your vehicle responds that way. And at certain times of year, your vehicle will want to respond in ways that it has been in the past at that time of year. And it will respond with thoughts or with actions, moods or pains or anything. And it still has a lot of responses that it wants to do automatically. And as long as you can recognize when you hear those things or observe those things as just responding to things that might be happening, and then quickly apply, I'm sorry, I'm not going to rinse that, or I'm not going to pay attention to that, or whatever it is that would keep that from being destructive to you or to your computer. The faster you apply that, then the quicker you get over that hump. Because that period of its wanting to respond that way is always a temporary thing. It's just going to be there for a little while. So maybe one time, whatever the circumstance is, that little while might be longer than another little while. But it doesn't matter, because in a sense, since your purpose is coming here was to gain strength, even if it's there for an extended period of time, who's the winner? You're the winner. If you fight it off for that extended period of time, or ignore it for that extended period of time, because you become stronger by doing it. But any moment that you start to listen to it, or give into it, or trust your judgment and your responses or things that you see coming from others, or listen to your vision, whether it's things or moods or whatever. All those to us are just really like little unhealthy aspects of the brain. And you just don't have to. Even if there's something there that you cannot get rid of, it doesn't mean that you have to, let's say that you have a particular weakness, and you can't get rid of it. Let's say you lost a hand, for example. Well, you can't grow a new one, but you're going to learn to compensate for the fact that that hand is gone, and you're not going to like the fact that that hand is not there. And this is beautiful. You can even become, if you choose, much more positive strong because of not having that camera. And that could go on even to the point of having nothing but rain. You could become stronger, more positive, more into next level nature, because you had more opportunities for accelerated growth. As those deteriorating forces were working against you. Actually, they aren't working against you, they're working against your vehicle. But by working against your vehicle, they give you, your mind, the opportunity to apply refusal to accept the negative and to apply a positive to counteract, override it. We brought to the town one of the employees, and why did they love to do that? Well, it's often hard to watch when you're there hours, and I think it's extremely. Or go over their head and say, what can I do about this? I hate to be this way, and I'm not going to impose my kind of music. But that kind of noise all day, just fighting it all, it makes it very difficult. And I think they would probably, if they thought that it really did make a difference, that someone maybe over the shaft, maybe the shaft would be considered something. But you certainly shouldn't let it go. Just let it go. You know, if I stand there and blow smoke in your face all day, you're going to let it go? When it's actually injuring you to do that. Well, I don't think the tapes are injuring, but the energy that it takes you to block your thought is wasted. And energy that could be applied better and better.
You also say that time is become a person.
Certainly shouldn't just be so goody-goody. Just let them do it. What are they going to do next? You know, you bang cymbals or bang pots for us. Well, I know, but a certain amount of that is expected, but they shouldn't do it intentionally. They can do it accidentally.
They used to work out sometimes races where they play it on the part of the you know, and in other words, say you can take it for a little bit, but it's really...
Or at a certain volume. I don't know if they play it loud.
No, the way you have to live it, there's a well, the radio is like the time where we work.
Why have you all permitted it to be there?
They didn't know how to do it. If I was going to be aggressive enough to change the station, before I change the station on somebody else's radio, I would say, would you mind moving this someplace else, or can we have a bargain on the volume level, or can we have a deal on maybe we play a little bit of this band, we'll do that, and have a little quiet, some of ours of this and that, because to me they're being extremely good. We drive down the street. And we can just come up and tell us that it's sunlight and their radio it's so loud you can hear it all. One time we were walking out the store and the car goes by on the street down there and we can hear their radio. You remember that? Yeah, in the world,
It's very destructive. It really isn't even funny because it's very destructive to their ears. To the ones that are
Well,
into it.
they're going to be deaf.
Not only to their ears, but to the brain.
But I would say that either after you move it, or if you can't work out some kind, you and Pam already go through this, they can't work out some kind of arrangement for this music to let us run it going. Because you can't get it that kind of
Yeah, you could also make reference to if this has been going on a while, you should have let us know that it would happen. They don't. Well, the first time it began to emerge, should have been when you go to that.
So this is a good example of being aware of what the person, because you don't know. In other words, you've got to become aware that everything in a business that causes you some kind of trouble. If you're working with someone in the class and you feel uncomfortable about how they present something to you, then they are programming your deep feelings as information. And you know what, you want to be careful. Do you understand that? Okay, it's the same thing that does in this ministry. Suppose somebody comes up to you and in a very smart way they're saying something about somebody else. And you listen to them. And next thing you know, you're saying something in agreement with that person. Just because, well, what you're doing, you're putting negative stuff into your thinking. Now, you're not going to get beyond this stage until you can 100% to program your thinking into those right those problems. You will not get what's next in line for you, which hopefully is the next one. You've got to get rid of all these human cleanliness that you have, all these human characteristics that are still hanging around in your brain.
Still letting your feelings get away with it.
It's just plain old lazy. That's the only word I can think of, because it's easier to go with the way the demons are going.
Mentally lazy, not brain lazy. It's mentally lazy. Next level mind lazy, because you're not examining it, recognizing it for what it is, and getting rid of it.
Now, we think it's great that individuals, whenever somebody does something that they feel is negative, directed against them, they write a 3-time rating. We think it's great that you are alert enough to this change to write a 3-time rating, because you're doing it in a way that is not being malicious or getting back at somebody. You're doing it because you are concerned about that individual. And you're also concerned about yourself, because you want to protect yourself and you want to make that individual be able to overcome what that individual has done overcome. And it may be that that person isn't aware that he or she is guilty. And by your letting them know, by 3-time rating yourself, you're making them aware that they're doing it. Sometimes we read a movie out there where somebody raised their voice real loud and sounded argumentative. And then that person, when they perceived their helpers went to him, he acted like he didn't even know what they were talking about. So it was obvious he wasn't even aware that he was doing it. So instead of saying I wasn't aware, when was it? Give me some examples so I know what I was doing. Instead of saying I will become more aware of that, what am I doing? In other words, you don't need to go to the circumstance. All you need to do is take the suggestion and be happy. Then be honest with happiness. Not just say, thanks a lot. Prove to me that I did it. I don't believe I did it. In other words, that's what you're saying when you don't accept it. And we want you to get rid of any hidden hostility. We want you to get rid of this back savvy that is occurring, because that's all human beings. And as long as you're hanging on to it, you won't get any further than where you are. And what the honest thing, not all of you are done. There's still some who do it, and the ones that you really want to programming will be helpful. Let me tell you what you can do if you continue to play. You can act as a point in your practice. Because it isn't in every individual, it's only in a few individuals. And that point can run the good ones, the really good ones away. Now you can say, you might say, oh, I'm going to be part of the thing to talk about. Well, so I think I'll leave and then put rid of the cracks and I'll talk about it. It's the solution. The solution is very simple. You get rid of the poison and then everybody will be happy. And walking out the door won't change anything, you know. You'll just be running away. But it's very easy to get rid of the poison. And this is actually where we first started.
Yeah, bringing that next up time.
Right, by programming your genes and being aware that you can have poison that will cause people. If you cause people trouble in the crack, then you still have a little bit of poison.
I don't know why the individuals like that clearly could not do homework in programming their genes to be key to their own poison. It's almost like they would rather not recognize that they have poison. And therefore, they don't want to keep it. But all of you should know that you all have poison. And that what you want to do is see it. Because only by seeing it, in other words, I screen at that. We screen constantly at our genes to surface anything that is on the blackness level. So we can see it and swear on to see it and in ourselves and work on it. But and we do that many, many times a day. We do it automatically, constantly. Program our genes to help us recognize. And in other words, the genes can actually help the next level mind. They can actually become servants of the next level mind to help expose. It's like they can become mirrors. So the next level mind can, or they can assist the next level mind in seeing the ways to be that are still negative. But if there's still a sense of bitterness, if you can still say, I can't do this, I can't do that, I cannot do this, I must really be bad, I must, or anything negative, then you have not done your job. And wanting to see those poison to get rid of. You want to see only the ones that you want to get rid of. You're willing to see only the kind that you are willing to tackle and accept. Others over here that you lean the most heavily, and actually part of your structure is that poison. You have not yet awakened to the fact that it's poison. You're still believing, or justifying, or twisting around to see that poison in a constructive way instead of a destructive way. You know, it's a little off the subject, but it's not much. It's the same subject. But now that we've been concentrating on trying to understand the working of genes and how they work and influence, how many times have it's hard to say everything I have on my mind where to start. We've said that your genes are made up of what you inherit. Your genes are made up of anything that is influenced, or anything that was influenced those that were before you, right? Plus anything that influences you. Okay, now, have you carried that far enough? Because we don't see evidence in statements you've read that really makes it sound clear, even though I'm not sure I can make it sound clear to you, because the reason for this, what we're talking about this, is because your computer, your genetic structure, does not have the framework of logic of this kind of understanding. It has a framework of logic of falsehood and of superstition kind of thing. If you know what we mean by superstition, it's real. It's fake. And so it's hard for me to talk to you in these terms because these terms are new to your computer. And you don't know how to make them fall and take them down logical, because you've been trained to believe that so-and-so is logical. And so when you hear new things that don't seem to jive or fit into a structure that seems to be coherent, then you can't accept it as logical. Until you yourself have forced that information in, sorted it out, backed it up like block, and see it as a package that's more solid than any package you've had before. Okay? Now let's talk for a minute about genes and how they relate to humans about reincarnation, life after death, and so forth and so on. Is there such thing as reincarnation according to genetics? Is there? Okay. I would say, is there such thing as reincarnation according to genetics? That's been settled. But are those traits lacking? Are they, in other words, was it more satisfying to think of a whole blob that's considered you that might go on into the next lifetime? Is your computer still so stuck on that framework of logic to think that you are either going to heaven or you going to reincarnate? And you, what is you? You is all the bad and the good. All the accumulation of what you have become from your past and in that lifetime by influences that you have accepted. I certainly wouldn't want that you to live on. Do you see what we're saying? And yet, that's what humans say they want to live on. Now, in a sense it does, it lives on. But it lives on not as a pocket, but believe it or not, as many pockets. And each one of them was as important as the package that was the source of that package. Now, you can say, I don't understand that. Because you haven't programmed your thinking. But by now, when we are talking to you about genetics, you should have thought about this. You have brought that perspective into practice. Now, let's take it just physically. If a human being has 5 offspring, has he not passed himself or those characteristics on dead, or are they living that he has had when he passed them? They're living, obviously, because the offspring is living. So is that offspring not him plus someone else? Is that offspring now a reincarnation of him and a reincarnation of someone else? Wouldn't he be happier to see that there he is? There I am. You are me. Why does the parent love those children? Because they see themselves. The attachment is to their own self that has taken a life in a branch, in an offspring. That's the attachment they feel to that individual. Is themselves. There. Now, what about someone who doesn't have any offspring? He doesn't have that attachment? I think you should have thought about that. He had just as many offspring. By those he had influence. If I have given you anything that you have bought, and you have bought it, then you are me. And so when this flesh dies, do I die? Well, why would I hang on to such a superstitious idea then, that if I die, that's my end? When it isn't my end. I'm already living. I can even see myself living before this vehicle goes. And it's actually my consciousness that's living there. If you have accepted, if you have believed whatever it was I passed on you, negative or positive. You see what we're saying? So understanding that, so therefore who cannot not reincarnate? Or who cannot, does anyone not reincarnate? Or have a soul that lives after that? What would be, that's the hypothetical. Absolutely. Unless somebody came right out and picked up all this stuff.
What if they're random? What if they're random?
That's right. Even those animals, even though they may be cut off from those thoughts growing up, but even as those animals, they're accepted a certain type of conduct that others began to receive and be aware of, and they are accepted. So it's impossible not to pass away, because you would have to be in fact. You would have to be in a circumstance where you could have nothing to do anything or anybody or not even be thought here. So when a vehicle dies, that is nothing is done any more than a leaf of the plant. But a plant leaf never dies until it usually dies because there are more leaves out here reaching out to the plant. Now the beauty of all the way the level has created that, or has designed that, is that one day even the plant will slowly become less and less and less destructive, but only under totally positive conditions, because it is negativity and lower level activity that keeps them fortunately destructive, because they destruct their own negativity. It's the negativity that is causing the destruct, because there's so much negativity. If there was no negativity, and it had become a healthy unit that had passed on to no negativity, it would not be together. And you see how that works, and how that eventual, how this branch could eventually grow to indestructibility, but what would be the quality of it? There would be no negativity. Negativity can be all around, but the plant would have known how to see it as something that he had known, that he was immune, that he was not going to be resistant, that he had the strength to be immune to keep it from. Now, this is the reason that we realize that if you all will force yourself, your next level mind, to break up the structure that was only human structure, you will just feel so the chain will be broken. You'll be released from the negativity of the conscience, because it's only ignorance that finds you, it's illness that finds you. And ignorance and illness is an ignorance and illness. All of these things are illness. And the only way you're going to become well is to have zero negativity. And that's why you got to work at it very fast, because a lot of you don't even recognize the forms of negativity. You recognize many more forms of negativity than you used to, but you're still accepting not even regular. So you might still recognize, forms of negativity that are that don't even appear to have any forms of negativity. But if they are less than next level type interaction, they have to be recognized. Destructive is not could be. I mean, like his brother saying, looks like you're going to eat George. controlled church. Whatever else they do.
None of you really have AIDS.
Except you know.
Until I got over
I don't even think that we have that bad, even though we have, in a sense, we have self-imposed destruction at different times. And even though we don't like destruction, we are pushing to push you and to stay ahead and to try to move ahead and to make this happen as quickly as it can happen, to take you through this path. And because we're so desperately not wanting to miss that might be a positive force. And that we keep ourselves under tremendous stress. I mean, in other words, the only way we could be less destructive is just see what we're saying, and that we wouldn't be going anywhere. You know, if we sat in a yogi state and meditated, that'd be very healthy for the vehicle and very little growth.
I'd like to add one thing to what Bill was saying a minute ago. In my mind, if you are love the next level as much as we think you do, then you would love the characteristics of the next level better than you would the human characteristics that you have. And therefore, you become more concerned with human characteristics as quickly as possible. And be very critical of yourself, not of others, but of yourself. So much so that anytime somebody mentions you as something that you have no self, you would honestly be thankful to be made aware of that individual. And not feel hostility towards always kicking at you and something that you do wrong. In other words, I want to see in you all that you love the next level of belief, that you want to get rid of those human characteristics. And we see it. It's just about every one of you, there's a certain one thing on.
The percentage rate is still
we want you all to, like Bill was talking about, influence people. We want to tell you everything that can help you to be influenced, not brainwashed, but to be influenced so that you will like what the next level is all about and try to be influenced so you can become the most. In other words, your genes and your mind will grow so that it will influence this vehicle, so that all the things in this vehicle will be of the next level. And this is what we started. I know and supposedly, and I'm sitting in this chair at this time talking to you, that you cannot become a member of the next level until you overcome negative characteristics or you can't become a member of the next level or get more.
You can't move up to the grade that you're supposed to be moved up to.
Until you overcome the human characteristics and convert them over to the level 19.
She's not saying that it's saying that passing this test, this growth level, this school that you're in, this has to be accomplished.
In other words, your mind is what's doing. Your next level does is what's doing. A human cannot do it. A human can only become a better human and can can take on the characteristics of the next level, but it will still be computed on a human level. Because you all have a next level mind, and your vehicle grows. And you're converting that vehicle into a more positive human. Where you have those human beings are human mechanisms in those vehicles. And that is every little negative thought that comes into your mind that will be converted. Now, we're not saying that the negative thoughts will ever stop. Because as soon as you conquer one, another is going to go until you're able
That's the
to.
process of service. Yes, clarifying the butter.
It's just like getting rid of all the garbage, the dirty water. Remember how we used to use that muddy water where you have just clear water, and it's still the same. In other words,
And you're still in an environment where negative thoughts are present, influences of negativity will be present. As long as you're here, you will have all of that developed for your sake, because that's why you're here, is to get strength and being unaffected by negativity.
Let's say you have this negative thoughts thoughts that are bombarding you, that you're saying those human things, whatever it is. You can turn that into a positive very as soon as you realize that is a negative thought and what it's trying to do is convert it to something good. Then you can say, but how can I do it? Well, stopping it first is converting. In other words, you're building up a positive to block that negative right away. And what does it matter what it's converting to? At least the negative is growing to become stronger.
Right. Well, look at what he's saying. Well, what about on the recorder if you have a pause? In other words, you know what I mean by a pause on a recorder? If you can stop it writing its tracks, and then you put on that, you apply the positive. Isn't it just like stopping that negative playback at the pause and then recording a positive from that point on? You see what we're saying? It's just coming right in on top of that negative, not hearing it out, and then taking over the tape and making applications.
Let's say you have a senseless thought coming to you, and immediately you say, I'm not going to listen to that. Why? Then you stop it. But what you have done, you've applied a positive to a negative. Let's say somebody is coming to you with
or even feeling that may not even register.
Well, they can feel that. Immediately, you don't have to say that feeling is something else. We're saying you're blocking that thought. Let's say somebody comes to you with some kind of criticism about somebody. Immediately you say, I don't think we're supposed to be talking about this.
Or your brain tries to see some criticism about somebody.
You're blocking it and you're preventing that negative thought from coming in. You know how these hockey goalers are, how they block those shots from getting in there? That is a sense of what you have to do to protect yourself from negative things.
Well, they always come from the unexpected direction, and you can't even
And
recognize
they're
them
always
as a puck.
trying to slip in, it's one real fast as it gets between the goalie and all his pads and
You think you're all sprawled out on the floor to drop them, and then it comes over your head.
and that's the best example of negative thoughts that I've ever seen, because that's what they do, and they will try every door imaginable until you close it, every door, and before you know it, that's positive. All of a sudden they're trying to be negative, and all of a sudden I'm positive.
But he's saying you should all be good goalies.
Making a negative out of a positive.
By now, you should all be good goalies. I mean, you should all be good goalies. You should have had enough experience after the years that you've been our students
That's what you need
to become good goalies.
If you're not, it doesn't mean that you failed. It just means that you need to work on it so you can become a better goalie.
Is that what they call it?
That's what we're going to call it.
Okay.
If you need to explain what a goalie is on tape, you'll back to scratch. You can over what we have to do. I don't know if I'm taking my advantage.
Well, I don't think you can have an overload as long as nothing is natural.
Well, I don't think so either, but it's almost. I'm afraid I don't understand an overload of thoughts or. So much. But see, it's like this right now. I'm not saying that this is the case with you, but a lot is happening now. And if you haven't done your homework, it's going to come on pretty strong. In other words,
because you've got to be pretty skilled at putting everything that's happening in the right pocket category.
it was just too much. And it can cause vehicles to feel like it's just too much, I can't take anymore. And but if you would continue to take each lesson, like this lesson we gave you today, and if you would try working on everything that is on this tape, from this moment on, hopefully you worked on it prior to this, but I mean put more effort into doing it, then whenever the next dose of medicine that comes your way comes in, then it will come very easily. It will protect you a little. Like some individuals, there are a lot of individuals having trouble at this time. And a lot of it is more in the South Crack than it is in the North Crack, according to what we've heard. And what it is, you're just having to work to cleanse a lot of negativism out of your system. Or a lot of negativism is being exposed at that time. Yeah. And let me give you an example of what happened in the South Crack. They were getting ready to play the tape. And one individual said, unless we play it soon, we're not going to be able to hear it before we go down. Okay, in my mind, that should have never been said. Unless that person could get up and participate in getting it done. Because you're opening the doors to negative.
It's negative expression.
In other words, if they're doing the best they can, if no one is doing something about it, then once you become aware of it, you could get up and say, could I help putting the tape on? If someone will show me, I'll be happy to show it so that we can listen. But you can't point out a negative to somebody, and then two other individuals come into the picture and say, if you don't get it on soon, well, what's wrong with their doing something about it?
In other words, the negativity is increasing. If they can't do anything about it, they should not say anything. They're not helping the situation. They're just adding negativity.
All they can be aware of is that it's getting close to going down. And but they can't be tossing out negative thoughts like that and causing other people to be subjected to that negativism. And before you know it, when it's time to listen to the tape, there is no state to listen to it. Now, let's say how you could have handled it. You could have watched the clock and thought, well, if it's too much longer, I might not be able to hear the tape anymore.
This is just saying it to yourself.
You're saying it to yourself. If it isn't set up soon, I'm not going to be able to hear it before I go down. But then I can hear it tomorrow morning, or I can listen to it until it's time to go down.
And then hear it again. Didn't you know you had a procedure that you could hear?
In other words, this is how you want to think. And these are those little thoughts that really can stir up the cracks and cause turmoil. If one person can throw out something that is a negative thought, and it can spread like the plague. Believe it or not,
even that person not even recognizing that it's a negative.
Right. But this is what we want you to become aware of. And we don't want, we hope you want to.
I want this craft to be free of negative thoughts. Now, isn't that a negative thought, if I should say that? And then you say, yes, I do too. I'm quite aware there's quite a bit of negativity around here. And then the third person comes in and says, I do too. You know, and it's like, what are you creating? You're creating all kinds of negativity. Even though you think that your mind is on the positive.
I wish everybody would do what's right.
Yes. I wish you would follow instructions. You know.
I mean, that's not a positive thought. You know what we're saying? And this is what, can't you all see what we're talking about? These are the little things that need to be gotten rid of. I don't know if that's
seen for what they are, and then disposed of.
I wish Fact 3 would answer my note. I wrote him a note. And I've never gotten an answer. Is that a positive statement?
No.
Of course it is. These are the little things we're talking about. I don't know why.
And you can say, well, what am I going to do if I see that the system isn't working properly? There is nothing that you can do except trust that the system will improve on its own. That your teachers are still with you, that the way the system has been set up work, and things that are not proper always come to our attention in one way or another. When they are delayed in coming to our attention, it's usually for lessons that need to be worked out among yourselves, and trying not to look at it in a negative way, or not to take the opportunity that the instruction or the breakage is slow to get to length. Not to take that opportunity to explore some more activity on how late that is getting to length.
Or even to think that Lynx isn't getting the messages that Fact 3 are stopping anything getting to Lynx.
Yes, sir, that Lynx hears one side of it, and if they could really hear the other side, they would see more truth. As if Lynx is going to take any face value appraisal from anybody. We just hear what you say, and we put it on the bank along with all our other observations and things. And then what we trust is what we get in instruction. And it may not even jive with what you've said, but we trust what we're getting from our helpers more than, in other words, all we do is if you tattle to us, we'll tattle to them. And they may come back and say, you're wrong, and give us something different. But we're not going to make any decision because of anything that any of you have said. Do you not see that?
We're the innocent stuff. We're the innocent people. We never do anything wrong. I mean, in a sense, we're just puppets. Can you blame us?
I hope so. That's what we want to be. I hope we are.
If our vehicles respond immediately, we become aware that it has responded, and we will try to correct it. But in general, we send it out, and what comes back comes from the next seven. It doesn't come from us.
And we at least can recognize that the right answer has come back.
We've told you this from the very beginning. When we picked different individuals to do things, we were only following instructions. We didn't favor you over someone else or thought you were better than somebody else. And they felt that you were capable of doing it.
Or maybe not even in terms of capable of doing it. Just felt like it was right for you to be given that task. It doesn't mean you're capable of doing it. It might be that you'll fall on your face for anybody who was going to give them that task. For the good of the class.
Doesn't have translated in it. It feels like it's not checking for that. It's a little bit of suffering and it tries to translate it as this, and there's so-called there, and it's trying to translate it.
That's something else.
It's something else. It's funny. I feel like it's wrong. I'm recognizing it's just as medicine. I'm not accepting the translation.
Right. Now that's healthy. Because don't trust translations. When something is coming down, if you try to judge it and translate what it is that's happening, you're going to be wrong 9 times out of 10. Just accept it as good.
And I think maybe next year, but I'm not sure because it's like the brain, I don't know if it's the brain is it's like it's grabbing the core. It's like it's a they keep grabbing for more and more. The more that was coming, the more that I kept grabbing for it.
Or you weren't
trying so hard. Or I'm trying so hard to put things right. It made me think that I wondered if there was a possibility of overload, which might have been negative. That's what I was wondering about. That was possible.
I don't understand an overload in this way. I can understand you're trying to get more information. You know, not information, but let's say clarification or awakening more in dreams or something. But I can't understand an overload. In other words, you could be talking.
It has to be a negative to even let the thought of overload come in. You're not going to be overloaded on anything.
Okay, so it's not really trying to make me stop.
Sure.
Okay.
Now, I tell you, when you're unconsciously, not really unconsciously, but it has not come into your consciousness, your next level mind is always trying to prepare your vehicle to be more receptive. Okay? And your next level mind is always hammering at the vehicle to be more receptive. But even when it does not come through your consciousness. Now, your next level mind also comes into your consciousness and says, tell that vehicle to be more receptive. And, so it's working both sides. It's working unconscious, and it's working through the conscious, trying to get the vehicle to be more receptive. Okay, and let's say that you have not exerted enough next level mind to get good control of the vehicle. But let's say there comes a little lull in your not being in better control of the vehicle. And for the moment that the vehicle is receptive, it's like, oh, quick, bring it in, because now I can at least, I've got a moment where I can bring in what I should have been bringing in all this time. And I haven't been able to keep the channel up because of too much negativity. You see what I'm saying? And that might be what you feel. Because if there are moments when your vehicle is for reasons not necessary to discuss, but there might be moments when your vehicle is not trying to slam the doors, or it's caught off guard and it's not interfering, that the part of the vehicle that has accepted wanting to pull more in, because the next level mind keeps telling it to pull more in, that part has been extremely thirsty at that moment because it sees it as an opportunity.
As your vehicle, as your mind's growth, believe it or not, even though you may not be aware of it, the mind is reaching for to cleanse your vehicle of any metaphor or any negative thoughts. And like you mentioned a moment ago, your vehicle or the response that you had was trying to make you feel like you weren't happy or whatever it was. The mind is pushing out, so to speak. Let's say it's enlarging, let's say it's filling out, and this is just figure speaking. And it's pushing out the negative so that only good is around. And that negative is beginning to center into something that gives you the feeling that you're not happy. But what you want to feel at the time is that, I guess this is what I'm trying to get rid of. And if only I could go take a shower and wash it off, then I would be cleansed of it. But it doesn't come in there. Let's say with you, Brando, things begin to be exposed to you, things that you have to overcome, things that seem to be so traumatic in your mind, and what is causing it to come to the surface and to show in that way? It's your mind that's doing it. And this applies to anybody, but it doesn't mean that you allow it to make you feel like that's all that you have to go and get rid of it in some way. Whether it's walking out the door or expressing yourself in some way or whatever it is. It's just something that you can be actually thankful for, that it's being exposed. But you want to not allow it to get the best of it. It's like being bombarded by somebody. By some thoughts. Let's say when you're all going with that chance that we told you you might have of visiting somebody. Let's say you were bombarded by thoughts of going, and the more you thought about it, the more you thought that other thoughts kept coming into your mind and saying how glad you would be of seeing somebody and what good talks you used to have, and you all were such good friends with that individual or something. Now, is that a negative or is that a positive? It has to be a negative because it's on the human level. But what it's doing is pushing out all of those feelings to the surface so that you can see them. But it doesn't mean that you really want to go and visit with that person. It just means that those feelings have been suppressed, and you're just coming and surfacing those things and making them, facing them and making you realize that you had those thoughts. And now you say, that's the way it used to be. If I went to talk to him now, we could have to talk with two different levels. Because I couldn't possibly be the way I was way back before we started this trip. In other words, you're realizing it, you're facing it, and then you're converting it to a different level altogether. And then before long, you have to stop the thoughts altogether because they don't even make sense. And nothing was as beautiful as you really remember it to be. You know, I mean, as you leave, the brain has a wonderful ability to make things look like they were super. If they'd been super, you wouldn't have even considered leaving it. You wouldn't have been able to leave it because the power would have been too strong. It arranged for it to not be super when it was time for you to leave, so it wouldn't have been quite so hard for you to leave. Can you understand it? So if you can only remember that as things come to your face, don't take it as its face value. Don't believe in what you think it is, and by all means, don't allow it to make you walk out the door. Otherwise, you're going to be faced with something else when you walk out the door. What you want to do is just look at it and say, my mind is servicing this, and be thankful that your mind is growing and pushing this garbage down. And before you know it, it'll be gone. And then something else will take place.
But you're becoming better at handling it. That's the reason we said you should be better goalies all the time. You know, this thing we were talking about of genes and offspring, and genes and influence. In the old biblical terms, to have sex with someone was to know them. Did you know that thing? That they knew them. Because that's when you pass knowledge on. In other words, is it not true that if a sperm and ovum come together, that knowledge has been passed on in computer chip form that is going to be deposited and be knowledge? Now, so how potent is the knowledge? I'll let that go. Okay. What is greater knowledge to pass on? The kind of knowledge that can be passed on in offspring, or the knowledge that's passed on by influence? Influence, because it's mixed. It's mixed, but it's not mixed as greatly. It has a chance of being much more potent. In other words, the knowledge that's passed on through offspring is not only mixed with all the negativity of that individual who's passing their own genetic structure, but it's mixed with all the negativity and totally different computer of the other individual. So it's diluted to a degree, where knowledge is passed on through influence is much, much less diluted if the receiver is impressed by the information being received. Now, if it's good information, it becomes increasingly potent because it comes more in the direction of being a living, productive force instead of a destructive force. Now, therefore, just in a biblical sense, weren't Jesus' immediate disciples and those who paid attention to him, weren't they his offspring? Weren't in a more than real sense? And then look what happened as they passed on the information that they passed on, that they received from him, even though it became diluted by the receivers that received it. Even though you've seen it take full cycle, and some 2,000 years later, they receive it in a completely distorted version, except little tiny things that they're like, I am the vine, ye are the branches. You can see that in different ways. They see it in a way that's real sweet, and they don't know exactly what it means, but something in them recognize it means something really significant, because he died for it. What does that mean? He died for it. Doesn't mean anything. Look at the guys that die every day for somebody else. So that in itself didn't mean. You see what we're saying? But that's their way of making it significant. But, and of course, he didn't die, right? He didn't die. Now, if you are our offspring, if this class at this point in this context are our offspring, and you are depositing knowledge as you are growing as offspring, which is more accurate and better knowledge? Radio waves or telephone and written word? Radio waves. And that's in a sense what that's the experiment the next set is conducting now. Because as you put this into motion and you are depositing these thoughts and you see them filtering down, and after a gestation period you see the offspring of those ideas taking place in society. You see what I'm saying? You follow? Then think of the potency that could be ahead in the generations that follow after you complete this task in your year. It should be much greater potency than was left by the class 2,000 years ago. Because of the advancement of the receivers, the radio receivers out there, how they've grown so much more than they were back then. And the potency of this many in a very concentrated transmitter. So you've got to keep your wattage high and keep your work pure. Because as you transmit, or as pure as possible, because as you transmit negativity, that's as destructive to them out there as it is to yourself and classmates. Amen.